কেমন আছেন?
হ্যাঁ, ভালো।
ভালো আছেন? গরম পড়েছে?
হ্যাঁ,
আমি তো আজকে সোয়েটার পরে আসিনি। এখানে এসে দেখি সবাই পরে আছে। আমি আমার আলমারিতে একটা শাল রাখতাম, ওটাকে তুলে পরে নিয়েছি, কিন্তু গরম লাগছে।
ভালো লাগে। আসলে মেট্রোতে ঠান্ডা হওয়া থাকে না।
হ্যাঁ,
ওই জিনিসটা, আর বয়স হয়ে গেছে তো, হট করে তোমার কাছে ইয়ে মুশকিল হয়।
আমি তো সবাইকে দেখি সোয়েটার পরে, আমার ভয় লাগলো, আমিও চাপিয়ে নিলাম, শাল চাপিয়ে নিলাম।
হ্যাঁ, সাবধান হওয়া ভালো।
না, কালকে অব্দি পরেছিলাম, আজকে সকালবেলা লাগলো না ঠিক। হ্যাঁ, মেট্রোতে তো আপনার ঠান্ডা লাগে, মেট্রোতে লাগে।
মনীষজি, good morning to everybody. I am academic counselor of IGNU, H Biswas. Today the course is MMPH J05, Organizational Development and Change. Today is a review class. Here, so far we have discussed about block 1, block 2, block 3, and block 4. So in our early session, there are 5 sessions we have taken, and we have covered up all this. Today, actually, basically the review of the total course, so that you can recap the things and which are the topics so far we have discussed. So you have to review and the important topics. Again, we have to discuss a little bit so that you can give the concept and full idea of your course. So first things is the block 1. As you know, there's the understanding the change, where we have discussed the understanding the change. There are 4 units: concept of managing change, type of change, and the factors critical to change, organizational culture and change. And the block 2, the organizational development. Then there are unit 5, 6, 7 that we have discussed already. And there are also organizational development, and then OD interventions, organizational development interventions, organizational analysis, and third block basically the formation of the organizational change for these merger and acquisitions, turnaround process. So all these things units have already discussed. And block number 4, that is the role of change. The last 2 units very, very important. That is the role of the skills in the managing change, and your unit 14 is the managing resistance to change. All these things, there are 14 units. But in this today's session, I likely to discuss about the important unit and some of the points to be highlighted again, so that those who have not gone through my earlier sessions, and particularly these sessions, you can have a best idea what are the courses. So let's see the detailing of unit 1, where the introductions, developing the change, mindset, some key changes, themes, categories, the business, triggers, the change, and creating of the features. That is a unit wise, it has already in the block, you can get it. But here actually, basically the concept saying the change in the only reality is you see the humankind and mankind and the human and in the organizations, change is inevitable. Change is already there, and it is a reality. Change in the human is reality. So in the case of organization case, people always resist changes because a lot of question in their mind. What will be the benefit? What will be the happen? My positions, everything will But change, definitely change will be there. But in this slow process, by the negotiation process, people can start accepting the things through the negotiation, and finally they have accepted and proceed. So life is changing physically every microsecond, as we know. So secondly, there's a changing mentality, and emotionally you are changing, and spiritually also you are changing by the course of time, human by the nature of things. And there are some of the learning cycles, because you see, especially in the organization point of view, see, you work, you have some work, then by the course of time you have to some experience, that is a job experience, and similarly the life experience also. So and then after that some reflection will be there, based on your experiences you have to modify the things, and you have to change the things like this way. And finally you drawing out some of the principles, and the concern about these things. So some of the change points, some of the key change themes are there. Some of the changes themes. That is a unit number 1.3, which I'm discussing here. Actually, basically the future perspectives. The future perspectives means in the introduction. That is your it is introduce the constructive, some of the constructive change. That is the main thing. And then the broad awareness should be there, because what should be the thing? Because first things you have to use some of the constructive change. This should be your introductory mindset. Then some of the broad awareness is required. Now the categories of the business change. Now categories of the business change, in the sense there are so many things begin with having some different forms. Then basically the change, why dissatisfaction of the employees, because of the old, and some of the belief of the new. So that is the triggering point, basically the category, the category point. Sorry. So improve over the past to present, that is one of the category. Then your continuous, discontinuous, and then conflicts and the unpredictable situations. These all are basically the categories you can see. What type of changes are there? Leads to stagnations or frustrations, boredoms. All these points are your different point. Based on these, the categories you can decide. Now, the market changes are also a point, because market, they want, the people are want, customers is always want the goods and services. Then competitions is there, government decisions, then your new technology. So all are your points, because based on these you can decide what type of business. Political changes is also there. It is also effective. And sometimes in the organization point of view, you see the raw materials, because the raw material is not at the scarcity of the raw material. Sometimes you have to take some changes business, because that raw material may not be available, or maybe the cost is very high. So you have to change your production lines, maybe in the different way. So this is also a part of your change process. Then market price is also important, because you have to consider the market price also, and based on this again you have to reschedule your business strategy. Technology changes. Technology is also one of the key point, because you see the changes in the marketplace, because the market is also needed by the new technologies. And new technology, because the new urgency and the new product, this is also required, and the quality improvement is also required. So these all are part of your change. What basically question is, why changes? Question may come because of this technology changes. So that's why. Then organizational changes. Now in this case, when the considering the organizational changes, Worst case basically is a because the market is also not profitable in the sense, or maybe some eventuality or some natural calamity or any situations, then organizations have to survive the market. So he may retrench the his employees, reductions in the number of levels, maybe in the management levels may be reduced. There are earlier it was maybe the seven marketing manager, now it will be five, two marketing manager may be reduced. And productions in the survey, the field engineers, maybe there are 50 field engineers, now they have to reduce some 20 field engineers, they have to reduce it within this 30, 40 field engineer can do this job. So this is the way the changes in the organizational point of view can be done. And new styles, then new skills, then reducing the operating strategies. These are all are operating site. Maybe they close down some of the operating sites. For example, you have a company or organization, there are 10 operating sites in different places. So maybe you have to shut down or have to close two operating stations temporarily, maybe 6 months or 1 year, so that when the business will again the revive or situation will be better, you can start again. So this is the way you have to manipulate, you have to survive, you have to see the competitive market also. So basically to stay in the business, you are another, you have to stay in the business, you may require some of the merger and acquisition also. You may take over some of the companies so that you can flourish your business, profitability can be maintained. So, and above all, the relationships also required, the manager and worker relationships also required. The cultural changes is also required so that you can survive it. So, organizational life cycles, that is, if you see there is a formative, then normative, and your integrative. And all these the process which earlier also we have discussed. So this is required. First things you have to inventing the and learning the things in the formative stage. Then you're in the normative stage. This is your in the normative stage you have to design or you have to make some systems and procedures and measure some things and guidelines you have to prepare and some formality. This is a stage of your normatives. Then your integrative creativity, and that case the innovations and the collaborations, the new growth and freedom in the jobs is all this is part of your thing. So stage by stage are the organizations is required. This is called the organizational life cycles. Now see the triggers for the change. Now I am talking about the unit 1.5. The triggers for the changes. There you see the market is one of the triggering point. Number two, your technology, and number three, your resources. So type of changes. That is a crisis. The crisis may occur some things. Then your productive. Then CEO changes. Maybe the top of the your CEO has changed, or managing director, MD, or CEO, whatever the things. Then another thing is organizational quality change, because quality is such required. So that's why you have to change your quality to align with the market demand. So that things, and another part is the triggering point is the imagination of technology. That is the required. These all are the points which are discussed now. That is your triggering for the changes. Now creating the future. Future mindset applies at all levels and will introduce the practical ways and act as a change agent. So that is your creating the futures like. Now you need to some of the points I have to highlight. That is here the focus on the individuals and focus on the role that will change through the feedback. You have to see the individuals basically how to change this. They required some feedback. So based on this feedback, you can change the individual's capability or you can enhance the capacity. For example, changing the teacher's style. So it is using as per the Flanders theory rule that the teachers in the classroom, that is the interactions behavior, what the way they are engaged with the students, and the students are how much he is learning or not. So that based on this relationship or interactions, based on these, you can give some feedback of particular teachers and the style you can change accordingly. So motivation change is another model because and then your that is focus on the role. What is the role playing? The theme of the team play. The focus on the teams also. Then focus on there's a plan change, goal of the plan change, and your need for the your change, plan change. These all are the things are equal. Creativity as another the issues are there because the creativity is very major things for the that things are to be focused very much because the directions and your delegations, coordinations, and your collaborations all are your the part of your you have to focus on particular this organization point. Now phases of the transactions. Now there are different so many phases are there. The shape of the organizations, then your size of the organizations depends. Then your functional change. Suppose particular one of the sections are weak, maybe the finance and maybe the marketing or maybe production. That has to be strengthened as far as possible. So then maybe there are changes are required a little bit. Then moreover, within the organizations, there's some sort of your sense of humors. I mean, the agency you have to establish. You have to establish yes, that is really required for the particular this situation, for the benefit of the company and as well as the individual also. That type of awareness and you have to sense of the urgency has to be created. Factors, then your factors critical to change. Then long term, your cooperation objectives is required because your objectives should be long terms. It's cultural and the values are to be needed to be redressed in another way. Management styles is also important point. Then your as per the you see the McKinsey's 7 models. There are some models there. There are superordinated goals. Then your style, as we know that the staff, then skill, strategy, then structures, and the systems. There are this is the way we have discussed. And all these part are your 7 case model. This model are every point are required to develop. Then coming to turnover, basically you see the when the turnover management this company is seeking sick conditions, so you have to revive. Maybe you have to change the CEO or maybe the product line has to be changed. That all these things, maybe some of the merger is required, acquisition is required. That's why you can do. And that is the way the turn management can be achieved. And performance is important because the turnaround performance has to be seen that is during the implementation process. It is very much needed because the first 1 year and second year and third year you have to see that that turnaround management process has really implemented or not, or successfully it has done or not. So it is completely it depends on the performance. So now then your type of changes, as we say, that is a plan change. The work design steps alternate. uses of work designs, because whatever the works are going on, it may not be fit for this present scenario. So you have to change and redesign the things. So, and designing as per the new organization's needs. So it's all a challenge for the transformations, because you see in any changes it requires some of the solid team, because some of the task force is required to implement the things. They have to prepare some of the you can say the agent of the change agent. You have to prepare some of the team as a commander force. They have to look after all these things during the executions of the things. The change process are really executed or not as per the guidelines, as per the objectives. So transformation is very important. It's really quite challenging jobs. Then you see the access, because the prime factors are required. So some of the cases the company's tricks are required, because you see the way is going on, it may not be successfully cannot be survived. So you require some of the tricks. Then the emergence of the humanistic philosophy in the management for the change organizations, because it is also required because human, because when you are dealing with the human, maybe the may not be technology, whatever the technology is there or anything there, it may not be 100% effective. So until and unless you have some humanistic touch or relationships are not there, and culture is also, so that type of management is very much required. Then your facilitation of the plan change, because as far as at in the long range process, we have a plan. That plan are before that you have to definitely discuss with the your management, and as well as the workers level also, and similarly the in the union also. So finally you have to I mean the planning process for the plan change is required, and go ahead. This when the consensus are given by the all, then it will be very easy to run the process. The rational and the natural system models, there are so many things that to be required for the analysis purposes. Organizational development action research is also, because during the action research you have to identify the problems and go through these things, and have to require some of the uh, values itself and find something. So this is also action research plan is also required to develop for this, so that you can easily the change can be done very smoothly. Then your organizational culture and change is an important unit, because most of the things are here are directly the cultural that matter, organizational human matter. So formal definition of the organizational culture, as we know, that is the to enhance the changes and live in a very new cultures. People can peacefully can work without any disturbances. So factor normally the what are the factors that influenced for the cultural. If you see, so that's why sometimes it is required see the history of the company, what are the size of the company, and what type of technology is going on. The leaderships is also important. Then organizational structures, control systems, and the key factors for the cultural changes all are and old culture all are considering your this process. Then you see the cultural what are the complexity of the management change that is identified. But through these things, you can also identify the things when you are going to the in a micro levels. So clearly you have to identify the things, you have to analyze the things, and what are the gaps. This is basically the gaps, the closing, the cultural gaps. You have to first identify and to be filled up. What are the gaps are there that has to be filled up? It may be dissatisfaction levels, it may be the salary problems, some of the maybe the French benefits as not as per the competitive. It's not a competitive salaries. So these things are required, or maybe some of the training, some skill development, training and development. All these things are required. So the cultural gaps are. This is the way you have to see that cultural gaps required, so that you can reduce the things. And then enhance the enhance the your group cultures and the group work also. Then if they executed the group works, then promote the new teams but new norms accordingly. And then finally other things are unique number five is saying for the development first things you have to see the identify the things, then you survey it, and you have to finally establish the area, define it, then you have to implement the things. I mean the particular the area are required you can identify. So this is the way the success of the organizational development like this. And finally, after that, I can show you one of the diagram is there that I show you. There you can see how what the way we can see the things. Now we see the yes. Now organizational in the current organizational development, as we say, that is a living because we are living elements. So similarly, you see in the product life also every units or every they have some of the life is also there. So maybe the cost reductions and the quality have to improve or improvement because the rapid changes are going on, and you have to rapid changes not only in the economic, politically, and the social environment is also changing very fast. So to coping up the all these situations, we should have the capability to functions within these systems, within this environment. So all angles have to see, the focus will be from the all angles. The change models are, as we know, that the change models are there. So point things, there are three, one, two, three, there are three change models are there. Then one is the your Lehman's change models, where the three things are there, three phases. One is your unfreezing conditions, and then your movement, and finally your refreezing. Unfreezing situation basically when the awareness is required, you have to forecast, you have to meeting is required, then convincing, understanding. That is the situations are required. Frequently meetings required the management at the workers levels. That changes are likely to be in the organizations. So that is the unfreezing conditions because people are not very much aware of all this. Why it is required? Because so that reactions, the react are sometimes maybe the unknowingly people are resistant. Maybe after the understanding, they may not be the reaction can be reduced, but reaction may not be there. So that's why before implementing any changes, you have to unphase the situation, the mindset. This is called the mindset. You have to frequently discuss the things. Once the unfreezing stage is over, then you have to go for the movement. Then you have to go through the movement. Movement in sense means you have to implement the things, you have procedure to prepare, you have to plan the things, and try to execute the things. These three situations are within the movement. But because your force is required, as you see in the army, there are before the war, the soldiers, the battalions, they are the leader are always practiced. This is the way. You have to first unfreeze the things, situations, so that the lethargy, laziness, motivate the situations. Become something that it is required for the war. You have to be prepared for these things. So preparing the things, so you have to unfreeze the things, situations, and finally you have to parade it. When you have to practice it, you have to see the situation. Then finally, after that, you have to refreeze the things. Means refreezing means ready for the do the jobs. So that is the one of these stages. Then another thing is planning models. Planning models means you have to plan, then you have to actioning, then you're stabilizing the things, then evaluation the things, and finally your the relationships, build up the relationships. Another is the action research model. Action research model already I have said some of the things. That is a problem identification, one steps, then gatherings, then diagnosis the things, and finally the feedback and part. So data collections or survey basically as you know that is the questionnaires methods are there, then interviews, and finally the observations. This is the way we can things. So now of the interventions, now we can discuss some of the about the 6.2 units, the level of interventions, where you see the group team, then the team groups or the organization. There are why the what type of conflict resolutions are to be solved by these groups. This is the basically the level of interventions. Who can deal these things? Then we have discussed about the strategic management issues, then production mix, then competitiveness, and objectives. Those all are your part. Then relationship with the collaborations, or even with the collaborators also. Relations with the collaborators. This is all for the new products, and all are your strategy managing part. You have to see. Then, and the structural point of view, you can see the SBU, that is your sub business units, what are the units of theirs. You have to correlate, integrated way, you have to do it. Then your project management company, they have to see. Then your project sections, hierarchical differences, is all are the things are required. Work decisions. Now, what are the essential points for the success of organizational development interventions? This is the top management. Then your acceptance or acceptations. What are the accepted, anticipated things? Then the CEO, then your professions, active involvement. These all are the essential is required for the successful OD interventions. As you know, the octopack, the climate, that is your openness, OCTAPAC, that is your openness, then your confrontations, trust, authenticity, proactions, autonomy, collaborations, and your experience, experiments by experiences. These are all are your the some of the model process. Then training and development is all are the success points is required. Training and development, then your organizational renewals, strategy, and the future needs, specific interventions is all are required. Then survey feedback differently are required because within the survey, what are the feedbacks? That is also a part of your success process. Then you need the high expertise because only the expertise can identify the things. Redesign the questionnaires because sometimes the questionnaires are not effective. Maybe the old questions, similar patterns. There's the change, question pattern change is also required. what type of questions are to be asked to the supervisors or within the company members. Then a confrontation meeting 6.5. I'm talking about the 6.5 your units. There is 6.5. There is a confrontation meeting where this is where the meeting, because how to confront the things. That's why the meeting is required. Then you have to give some assurance, and you have to motivate people, because you don't worry, the change will be there, and the company is now going for the new project, and this is the things are likely to be. So you don't worry. Company will give you some skill development program, training and development. So whatever your experiences, that will be enhanced, and you can definitely perform the good jobs, and your salary will be high. Maybe you will get in new positions. So that type of motivations, assurance, and the motivation is required during the confrontation meetings. Dividing the participants in a 5 to 7, because so that you can interact with a nicely without any gatherations should become, so that face-to-face discussions can be available. Presentation of the identified the problems, you can rightly you can presentations, you can show what you really want to say, so that things, distributing the copies of the problems, what are the problems are likely to be coming or challenges are there, that you can distribute to the participants. Then facilitating the participants, or the you can facilitate the participants. This is the way likely to be. Team building is another issue. So need for the expertise, and the constant trainer is required, so that he can constantly train them. Tasks, what type of tasks. So, and the T group, actually training group are very important in this case. Though are enhance the understanding, awareness of the group, and increasing the diagnostic skills, increase the ability. All are the objectives of the T group trainings. Then your role analysis, because who will be do the what the things. That is the things that you got the your coverage of the things. That's the role is there, and you have to cover it the same years within this time frame, and the your engagement is like this. This is the budget changes. So all everything are part is a part of your role analysis. So 6.9 is over role analysis. Now I proceed to unit number 7. The here is actually it is illustrated the diagnosis process, purpose of the functional analysis. Why? Because without this the unit is basically for the analysis. As you see the organizational analysis, where you have to tabulate the things based on the gathering the data, and that in a tabulated form in a graph positions. The purpose of the analysis are required, because then you can pinpoint the things. Basically, idea is you have to pinpoint the things which are likely to be done. The diagnosis, basically, the diagnosis means whether the not only the general treatment as opposed on this, because in the doctor you see it has X-ray, then your CT scan, MDR, a lot of processes are there. Based on this, you have to pinpointing or identify correctly. So correctness is very much required in this case. So organizations analysis is a part. Basically, the different tools are there. Based on this, that's why the questionnaires is very important. Because based on the questionnaires, what type of answer is coming, that is important. Because that is the one of the things are there. Because there is no other symptoms. Because what is the going on in the mind? Because here we are talking about the organizations where the humans are working. We are not bothered about the other things. I mean, the machine, computer, that you can change it based on the latest technology, what window is required. But when you are talking about the human, so that is a perfect calculations, perfect analysis is required. So that's why it is very typical challenges, real challenges here only. So correct diagnosis are required. Then only you can make a good work teams. workforce or task force, whatever. So main thing here, the questionnaires are like this, and then finally going to merger and acquisitions. Merger, as we already discussed, that the concept is there, and the merger, when the two companies become one, that is a merger company. Acquisition is one company buyer, one company is seller. So that is the you have to acquisition of the company. Takeover, basically the transaction of for the share or some of the value or money transact. This is the way, and you have to take over the things. Horizontal merger, basically there are two companies selling similar products that is in the same market. We can say it's a horizontal uh, merger. Vertical merger, there are two companies in the same business. So that case we can say it is a vertical merger. So this is the way I can proceed. Actually, I'm just trying to giving you overview. It may not be possible to all the units again like repeating. So I have to give you some highlighting the points which are the important things of this. Now we see the turnaround management. As we say, the turnaround management are important because where the company are not surviving consecutively 2 3 years, maybe the profit margin is not as per the desired levels. So that case you have to see whether the loopholes, whether the pitfalls, whether problems are creating, why not the things, maybe in the finance side, maybe in the production side, maybe in the technology, maybe in the leaderships. So from the all angles, you have to identify the things. That again, the analysis that this part, I think that organizational analysis feedback can help you these things. So turnaround management can be depends. That strategy can be taken. Maybe you have to change the CEO, or maybe you have to go for the mergers and all these things. So turnaround is nothing. Is a it may go for different aspects. So we can see the management, turnaround management is says the situation while the new situations, how to handle the things. So that is basically your turnaround management, how to manage the things, which are the situation as given merger, acquisitions, or new leaderships, or new concept, or everything, new development process, new training and development, or how to enhance their capacity, team buildings. So all these things, when step by steps are involving in the things, involved in the turnaround management. So the process, now there are so many processes are there. There is one is the process based changes. Process based changes are one of the method. Then you're implementing the BPR, that is another strategy. Business re-engineering, business process re-engineering. Then change challenges of the BPR approach, because when you are redesigning or re-engineering the things, definitely you have to take care some other aspect also, so that the challenge can be fulfilled. Then that's why the one of the quality TQM is very important. Total quality management. That is also one of the important figures, because the quality in the not only the particular product, even in the inventory level, in the from the raw material, in the raw side, in the initial stages, from the grassroots levels, change is required. Maybe in the only the finishing is very good, it looks very good, the product seems to be very good. No, so TQM in the product line, you have to see from the raw materials itself, start from there itself. The quality has to be changed, and then finally you have to get the good result of quality. That is for the production side. Not only the productions, at the same time the human nature also. So quality management in the sense of the not only for the quality of the product, the quality of the work styles, or quality of the marketing people, what the way they are dealing, their behavioral patterns. It is really at par the world class or not. Even see in the hotel industries, hospitality industries, their qualities. Why is they are saying the good quality? Five-star hotels, these are so. What the way they are researching from the start, from the research itself. what the way they are tackling their customers, and what the way they are giving it treatment, hospitality, even logistics. So that is the quality part of your total quality management. So in any industries, it may be the organizations, may be the hotel industries, it may be a manufacturing units, whatever the things, the quality management will be applicable everywhere. Now the situation is downsizing. Sometimes it may require you have to downsize the things, maybe to reduce some of the things to achieve that total quality management. Outsource things are like this is the way. Now different group of approach of the changes, other large group approaches, these all are the different approach are there. Now unit number 12 is evaluation of the organizational change. They are this the again the evaluating change, then your context of the evaluations, then purpose of the evaluations and the strategies. Here actually one of the things I'm highlighting, I try to emphasize the things, because you see the evaluations such things is the result scorecard, because until and unless you have evaluated the things, cannot the things are really in the right direction or not, nobody knows. So auditing, evaluations, these all are required. And then finally you have to gather some of the data, and based on this data you have to prepare some of the techniques. Yes, this is the things are required. So data analysis and the feedback are very important for any organization changes. So then only we can go ahead and 100% success can be achieved through the good quality of evaluations. So evaluation process are purpose of these evaluations and the strategies are very important. Role and skill of the management changes, because you see the role, top management level role is very important, because top management is also to be involved in this process. Because if the top managers are not keen to involve in this process, then other people will be demotivated. Because sometimes it has happened, some proposals are there, good proposals are there. The change business is going on already. The planned is already planned. Now you have fixed a meeting with the top management to workers or seminar. Some of the open forum you have already fixed, but somehow the top management people are not coming or addressing the program is cancelled. What will happen? It is a demotivating effect, because the worker and management will, other one levels people will start thinking the top managers are not giving it times. They are not very much interested. The role is very required, because the top managers also to be pursued, also to be present in the meetings. They have to declare all the times. So top level people, top management levels, even in the CEO also sit down and discuss with the different levels and different day. You have to fix at least one day or fortnightly, at least one day he should discuss in an open forum method or some notifications, whatever the way, or maybe virtual meetings. So that involvement is very much important. So for the formulation of the strategy are completely depend on how much involvement of the all levels. And during this change process, another aspect is from the human resource management side, reward systems, because people are always in a virtue of growth, and their mind has also changed. So reward systems give you some boost, give it some of the boost on motivations. Yes, I am doing some extra. I am giving some of the my contributions, an extra. Then I will get you also in monetary terms, maybe some of the cash award or some of the later appreciation letters is also sometimes give a boost, and some of the reward systems also. So we have to give some appreciation letters also, so to motivate the peoples. Yes, well done. What are the during the process of changing also you have to have some reward systems also. Career development, because career development is also this process at the change process. Maybe okay, after 1 year the project will be, this situation will be head of these sections, or maybe will be chief manager of these particular units. So this is the way you can give us some provisions so that they can also focus on the area. Okay, if I do this work, this post is there, and this definitely I can achieve it. That type of competitive minds are also required. They have to carry some of the chairs should be identified so that people can run and give a challenge and do the jobs. Something is there, is waiting for this success. So this is the way the career development systems is also should be there. Communications, because all these things process this role are now here actually I'm talking about the changes, because everything are depends on the how nicely your the communication systems, because the communication is very important when you are delivering the things, knowledge, awareness, and convincing, negotiations, everything are through the communication. So manager or the change agent should be a good communicator. You have to communicate the right things. And culture change is also important, because you see the culture are give us some peace in the mind, some dignity, your enthusiasms, everything are depends on the climate are also required. So the culture is given. This is the way. That's why it is the culture change as a lever, because the lever is a pivotal point. Based on this, everything are my human tendency are changing. If this culture is good, so all these other things all will be controllables. Everything are can be controlled nicely. Skills required for the role of change, because you see the change agent should have a good skills, and only you can deliver the things. So skill requirement is very important. Competencies, because change agent should be a good competencies, knowledgeable, the concept should be clear, and he can foresee what is happening. That project are after 2 years likely to be, and what are the things are to be happened, and before that he should be that type of imagination power he should have. So that competency is required. And in this all this change process, I mean the role of change engineer, who will do it? The functionary department is the HR. Human resource development, this role is this functionary department are different is the part of your HRM things under the HRM. So HRD are doing all these things to be implementing the things. Basically, implement the things, the knowledge requirement, training and development, skill development. Throughout the calendar year, they have to things are there, or you have to process one thing and in the all levels, so that everybody should have a participate in this change process and to so that's why the HID rules are very important in the case of your role management. Finally, the managing resistance to change, because you see the resistance is a quite phenomena. The resistance will be there, and you cannot avoid the things. People's mind, their resistance, maybe in a different way. It may be a minor nature, it may be a small nature. Let it be, but everything has to be addressed, has to be discussed, and to things, because maybe the dissatisfaction, maybe the frustrations, maybe any reasons. Now, it may be individual, it will be group, it will be team, it may be particular department, or everywhere that is may be there. Maybe the cultural differences is there, so that's why you have to diversity. You have to convince the people and at par with these things. It may require to change some of the policies also, because the individual policies to resist the changes. So So many methods are there, the grievance methods are there. So this way you can handle the things. So that's why giving some of the good governance and some of the rules and regulations are should be there, uh, should be compromise the things, and everybody has to obey, and there should be flexibility should be there. It should not be bindings, because if the should not be any burden. So rule and regulations policies should be smooth enough by the discussion of the all can be finalized, be formulated, and can be executed like this. So techniques for the there's so many techniques are there how to reduce the things. That's one of the things is interactions, interpersonal relation build up, and some of the behavioral pattern test is there. So through this way also you can identify where the problems are there. Then sometimes the problems are maybe very minor levels. So it may be by the discussion it can be solved. Some of the things are registers cannot be discussed in one sittings. Maybe 2 or 3 sittings are required. Some of the things maybe the particular one another level is required to discuss the thing. Somebody has to intervene and discuss and finalize the thing. So many ways we have to do this. Here actually some of the diagrams are there, then the structure, then subordinate goals are there, then as I said the 7S models, structure, systems, skills, tasks, styles. This is the way we have to do this. Now I have to see some of the your. Now this is the way I have to cover up the complete 4 blocks, and there are 14 units of this particular organizational and development changes. So if you go in details, so different the previous sessions, there are 4 or 5 sessions was there. Block-wise sessions already delivered in the month of February. You can see there also you can, and in details, block 1, block 2, block 3, and block 4. You can also see these things and you can learn the things. And apart from these, this is the review sessions where I'm trying to give you some of the clips and highlighted the things. This is the way. Now I have to go for some of the important questions. Some of the important questions which are from the totality are very important. That is your discuss different factors which affected the business changes. What are the factors? Then you explain the factors, trigger of the changes. As I said, some of the triggering point, which are the triggering point for changes, mindset, how can be ready for the adapted change, how to set the mental mindset, because you have to ready for, that's why some of the preparation is required. As I said, some of the preparations is required to prepare the mindset of the people. What do you understand by the changes? That you have to discuss. Why do you understand the things change? Then questions may come, discuss the different factors which are the change. Because the factors, the technology, one of the factors, market is already one of the factors, policies, global impact, environment. So a lot of things are there, external and internal factors, lot of. So you have to discuss and you have to elaborate the things. Then explain the factors which trigger for change. Like same question almost. Discuss the future mindsets, because the future mindsets are how can we be ready for the adequate change. It's almost the same. But what do you understand by the change? You discuss the different models of the change, which focus on the individuals. Then explain the 10 dimensions which bring about the organizational change through the role efficacy. Then questions may come, your explain the organizational development as a useful model of the change. What is the process, consultations? Then your explain the 7 phases of the work designing, redesigning, and suggested by that also questions. Then turnaround management, discuss in detail how turnaround management can be applied for an organizations. That is also important questions. Then how to plan change in the organizations, because some of the planned change as we said before, that you have to prepare the things, and during the plan change it is required very solid discussions, and for collaboratively you have to do all these things, explain the phases of transformations in bringing the change in the organization questions, discuss the important factors which are responsible for the change. Now the factors are responsible. Now the third question number 13, that is, you see the economic revolutions which have the contributed in change. Then your the models, different models are there, and so you have to discuss uh, uh, which are required for a different period of times. Over a period of times, what type of changes, uh, what type of problems are models are fit for this. So, what is the organizational culture? That is one of the questions. Organizational culture change can take place. This is also you have to discuss, illustrate the organizational where culture change has taken place. Then cross culture experiences. Then your what aspect have to be taken considerations for the closing the culture gaps. Then define the OD, organizational development, and what are the objectives of the OD. Discuss the stages of the OD. Then there are so many questions are like this: process authorization, organizational minoring, role analysis, and your team buildings. These all are your. Uh, this is the way different questions are there. Then your merger and acquisitions, different agencies. Then your short questions may be the joint ventures, dealers and distributors, form of the organizational change, the role of the financial institutions, and your advisory, like this way questions may come. Turnaround management. What is the turnaround management? You have to explain, and then categories of the turnaround. And take the example of organizations came around the Indian recently. So this is the way. So many other questions are also there. What do you understand with the process list? Then another question is BPR and TQM. Here TQM approach as management. Then your what are the benefits of the outsourcing? That is also important. The downsizings. This type of questions are very important. Now you see the role efficacy, team building at the time of training level, what type of interventions are required. Then your short questions, very the sensitivity training and process concentrations, these two are required. And then you're collecting the data, what the way you have to survey, and evaluation process, and your because these sessions are now try to complete in them as a review. So that's why I'm giving you 2 or 3 questions is important. Source of the resistance and explaining explain the copy, and discuss how it is possible to merge the resistance. So I think okay, thank you very much, because now the my session is over now. I am trying to cover up all the blocks and some of the important questions. So please go through this, and I hope this session is will be very helpful to everybody. So okay, thank you very much.